out of North Carolina Central, and we are talking NFL draft. Ladies and gentlemen, his name is Ryan Mcdanial. Ryan, talk a little bit about your football career, what you've been able to do in college. And it's a big day next week, or several big days, as the National Football League brass, everybody makes their way out to Las Vegas.
So thanks for having me on here. My college career has been, quite an experience. I first started out at Tulsa, and I started off playing safety. And, early on I played, well, let me back up. I started off as a walk-on, and I made, some headway by playing special teams early. And then, situations came up and, just as far as paying for school and all that stuff. So I ended up transferring to North Carolina Central, which was a great experience. They allowed me to come here, work hard. I met a lot of great people. And then I played my sophomore through senior year here at North Carolina Central, which I played as a receiver.
HBCU, the Meac, Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference. Take us into the Eagles and the Aggies. Eagle Pride, people who must understand about that rivalry. Take us inside Saturdays in the Meac.
Man, HBCU football is like nothing else, just from the fans and the crowd and the bands and everything like that. So when you talk about college football, like that's a perfect way to describe the HBCU football. And then specifically with the Aggies, that's just like any rivalry, but ours goes way, way back. And, every time we see them, no matter what sport it is, it's always going to be extremely competitive. So it's just been, some of my best games, and even memory-wise, I'll always remember when we played A&T.
Now, you are a crafty wideout. They throw it, and you can go upstairs and get it. Talk a little bit about your game and what you like to do, whether it be a comeback, a slant, shotgun, out route, whatever it takes to get the ball and get a first down. Talk a little bit about your style of play.
Well, like you said, whatever it takes to get, the first down, that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to catch it and run. I think that's one of the best parts of my game. I can catch the ball, and then my run after catch is pretty good. And I've just been working on route running, just to clean it up and little things like that. And I've also improved my hands even more. So my game isn't complete yet, but it's definitely coming along.
Take us back to Texas growing up, and we know that football is a big deal in the Lone Star State, but take us back to Texas growing up and how you were introduced to the game and why you love the game and why the game loves you.
That's a funny question. So the reason I love football is because of one play. And when I was a little kid playing like little Pop Warner Pee Wee football, they threw me a little go ball, and I caught it, and I ran as fast as I could. I didn't end up scoring, I ended up getting tackled just shy of the goal line. But ever since then, I was just like, oh my gosh, I love that feeling. So since then, I've always played football, and that was probably I was like 6, 7 years old. And so I've always loved football. It's always been my favorite sport since that one play. Then, just growing up in Texas is just huge. Middle school is a big thing. Everybody comes out to the games. High school, stadiums are packed out, and it's like big stadiums. So, football is everything in Texas pretty much.
The Meac, to be an all-conference player and to earn it the old-fashioned way, nobody gives you anything. You put the hard work in. You went to the library. You studied, you lifted weights, you did everything you could to be the player and the student athlete you are. Talk about what it means to you to look over on your wall and know that you're an all Meac player for the rest of your life. You will go down in history as an all Meac.
Man, it's a great experience, but I for sure wouldn't have been able to make it without the help of my teammates and all that stuff. And I tell my teammates that all the time, like whenever, somebody says, oh, good job, Ryan, or they congratulate me, I always let them know, like, nah, this is really you. You helped me so much through my process, you know. So I've just had a whole bunch of great teammates this entire experience, and they've helped me along so much just from little details and school, football, just everything. It just helped me grow as a person. But as far as being in the Meac, you know, that's an amazing feeling. I'll always be able to look back and, you know, tell my kids one day, look, this is what your dad did.
Ryan, the HBCU legacy, and in fact, the HBCU Legacy Bowl with Doug Williams, Mr. Shaq Harris, and all the gentlemen who were selected were able to meet in New Orleans recently and play over at Tulane. Can you take us into that experience and what that's like personally for you?
That was also another great experience that I've had. And, you know, just being able to see those legends, you know, and just know that they came from where I'm coming from. And then, you know, even just competing against all the guys all week, that was a great experience. It's just, we really have good football players and across the board. So there's talent everywhere, you know, you just got to find it. And the HBCU Legacy Bowl did a great job of highlighting that because they found some really talented players out there. And, you know, even outside of football, that whole week was just a great experience. That, you know, they took us around New Orleans and let us see, you know, some of the Black history and stuff like that. It was just a great experience overall.
Now, as we move through life, there's the next step and the next progression. In your next step, you're looking at playing on Sundays in professional football. Can you talk about personally what it will mean to you and your family and your personal goals to run out of that tunnel on a Sunday and play in the National Football League?
Can't even describe it. You know, you work for something so long, and like I said, I've been playing football since I was 6 years old, 7 years old, something like that. So just to be able to see it finally come all the way around, and you know, you end up living out a dream, it'll just be an amazing feeling. I don't know how I'm gonna react, but I'm ready for it definitely. But you know, then being put in a position to be able to help out with my family is just a big deal. So, you know, it's living out a dream, but it also, you know, helps so you can pay it back.
Can you talk a little bit about the journey and the process going from Central into pro football and how you're working out now and preparing yourself, and even the experience at the Legacy Bowl and getting coached up, so to speak, and just utilizing hard work and your skill sets to be a pro?
Yeah, so after the season ended, you know, I had another bowl game, the FCS bowl game. So I had a couple bowl games, and I went to those, you know, just make sure I was in shape and ready, and trying to fine tune little details without killing my body, and, you know, trying to recover at the same time. But I did that, and then performed at those, went to the Legacy Bowl, also performed there. And then now I'm, like I said earlier, specifically working on the details of my game, like route running and, you know, making sure every time I catch the ball, I catch it with my eyes and just the little details, make sure my foot is in the right place. And, you know, I've just been working with multiple trainers. I've come back up to the school to work out with my strength coach. I worked out with a guy named TJ, and, you know, sorry, TJ Graham. He used to play in the league for a while. And he's just been a great help in just helping me, you know, refine myself as a receiver.
Now, what's the thought process to know that you put the work in and it's going down next week? I mean, you're on the brink of moving on to the next level. How special is it right now, and what are your feelings as we move forward? And you know that you put the work in and you continue to work, but next week is a major week. What goes through your mind?
A lot. Honestly, I try not to think about it. I just try to, you know, every single day I'm just gonna find something to work on. But at the back of my mind, I know, like, wow, you know, this is it. You know, there's so much that can change in 1 week and a couple days. So it's just a tremendous feeling, and it's very exciting. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Now, Lady Liberty, your agent, she is one of the a handful of sisters and women who are agents, pro agents. Can you talk about her contribution and how special she is as a basically a pioneer and someone who is really a tremendous human being as we move forward, and you have an opportunity to work with her?
Uh, First off, I just want to thank Lady Liberty, Miss Rashida Liberty, for even believing in me and giving me this opportunity. Because a lot of people obviously could have passed up or whatever, but she thought that I had something. So I just want to give a shout out to her. But she's done a tremendous job, from networking and getting me into the right places, making sure I'm properly trained and all that stuff. So she's done a tremendous job, and that's just the stuff that I know about. I know she never even sleeps, so she does a great job, working for me and basically for all of her clients. She just works tremendously hard. So her resume speaks for itself. And like you said, she's one of the few female agents, and then even fewer one of the Black female agents. So shouts out to her. She's doing an amazing job.
Ryan, I know how important HBCU football is. I covered the last maybe 4 or 5 celebration bowls. I covered the Meac and the SWAC, and even you guys in Atlanta a few years ago at the Challenge. But can you just take us into HBCU football, and again, why that's so important in the legacy that you're a part of?
Yeah, HBCU football has been a major point in football. A lot of Hall of Fame players have come from HBCU schools, especially a while ago. And I mean, it kind of quieted down for a little bit, but just because it quieted down doesn't mean that, our talent isn't still there and the traditions aren't still there. And now it's just an amazing thing to see it come back around again. And, people are starting to pay attention to HBCUs. But it's an amazing thing because there's a lot of tradition, a lot of legacy that anybody would, want to be a part of.
Ryan, there's 30 teams out there and they play on Sundays. Are there certain teams that you would like to be a part of, or is there certain teams out there that fit your style of play? When you look across the league, what do you see?
I want to be, I just want to play football. So whether that's one team or another, I don't really control any of that. I just know whenever I get to where I'm at, they've got 100% of me 100% of the time, and I'm gonna give it everything I got.
Ryan, take us back to one of your most exciting moments when we think about college football. Take us back to one of your special memories.
Definitely it's when we played Norfolk for homecoming. That's been the craziest game that I've ever been a part of. And I think anybody who was on our team last year will probably tell you the exact same thing. We played them, we started off down 21-0, and then we came back and we ended up winning in double overtime. That for sure was one of the craziest games I've ever been a part of. That's going to be like my top football moment forever, probably.
Growing up in Texas, what was your favorite NFL team?
Honestly, my dad and my family, they were Steelers fans. So even though we were in Texas, I watched a lot of the Steelers play. But then as I got older, DeAndre Hopkins was there. So I supported the Texans, because I was right there in Houston. So now I watch football to see players and, styles. It's a little bit different now when I watch, but yeah, definitely growing up, I was definitely a Steelers fan.
Ryan, in closing, are there any final comments you want to make when we think about your legacy, your journey? And again, it's a beautiful thing because you're able to move forward and the future is bright, man. It's bright like sun on a hot day.
Yeah. Thanks, but for my legacy, I believe I'm just now getting started. So I'm looking forward to the future, and I think just gonna take it one day at a time and work extremely hard, and whatever God has for me is for me. So that's what it is.
Ryan, in closing, education. Can you talk a little bit about how special that is, and to be able to play the game of football and to be able to get an education on a scholarship and play for North Carolina Central? How special is that to know that you have an education?
It's an amazing thing. Growing up, my mom was always like, "Yeah, you can play football, but what are you going to do after football?" So, that's always an important thing. And even if you have a tremendous career and you're in the NFL for I don't know how long, you still one day are going to have to, sit it down and hang up the cleats. So then it's like, okay, now what do I do? And that's where education is so important, because it gives you a plan for the future. And yeah, I just really took education seriously coming through school. So I know when I'm done, hopefully that's a long time in the future, but hopefully when I'm done, I still have, a plan to go on.
Well, folks, ladies and gentlemen, his name is Ryan Mcdaniel. He is a all Meac wide receiver. If you throw it up there, he can go get it. He has the opportunity to play on Sundays, and folks, believe me, he is ready. All he needs is an opportunity to play. I'm James Hill. You're watching James Hill Sports. We will be right back.